Hey guys, so welcome back to Tiff Talks 22. This video should be pretty brief, right? But I just wanted to make a video about it because it's been on my spirit for about a week now, since about a week ago, and and I was like, you know what, I need to mention that, and then, or I felt I needed to mention it, whether I do or not, you know, whatever. But the day that I thought about recording this, I got a notification from a podcast that I follow, and I still haven't actually listened to it. And her topic that day was accountability. And so I was like, you know what? Yes, it is a conversation that needs to be had, right? So let me just start by saying what I feel accountability is. It is when you are able to take responsibility for the role that you played in a particular outcome, whether that's good or bad, whether the outcome was good or bad, right? It's like owning your part of it. And something that I feel, I think I even said last year and this year, like the word of the year, honey, is accountability. Just because I see so many things, and that's in relationships, it's in crime as well, in society, period, where we do not like to hold ourselves accountable. Our loved ones, we don't like to hold them accountable. Matter of fact, it's almost like we'll go out of our way to help someone get away with something, to almost avoid accountability. It's such a weird dynamic to me. How prevalent it is. It's like, depending on, especially when it comes to like looking at other people's stuff, like relatives or people that you are a fan of or that you're fond of, right? We make excuses for the things that they've done. It's like picking and choosing. Like Will Smith, just an example. Will Smith slapped old boy. Instead of making him accountable and responsible for his own actions and the use of his hand, we started saying it's Jada's fault. She manipulated him. Tiffany Haddish with her video. People are holding her to the fire. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even want her to do new movies, right? Will Smith, though, it's like, oh, forgive him. He's always so nice. Like, so we pick and choose who we want to be held accountable. We pick and choose how long we hold them accountable, if we should or shouldn't at all, right? Anyway, how I've seen it in crime can just be as simple as not wanting to believe that a loved one did something or could do something that may have resulted in a crime being committed, and so we help to hide them, or we don't give the whole story, or we don't share certain information, when if it was not our loved one who was the suspect or at fault, we'd be quick to be dropping anonymous tips. You know what I'm saying? That's what I noticed anyway. Something else, another way that accountability comes up in relationships. So, man, this one heavy. This is where all my examples are, okay? When we get to that part. But in relationships where we make it the other person's fault, the entirety of the situation not going the way that we expected it to, we make it everybody else's fault. Or the other person's fault, right? Even though it's like when something has occurred and it's happening, ooh, there go my ears ringing, and it's happening repeatedly, right? Or it's been done, something that has been done repeatedly, even with the same person or with different or new relationships, we make it other people's fault. Like, all the men out there this way. No, babe, you the common denominator in that phenomenon, right? So accountability says that, you know what, I'm taking a look. My ears are ringing, y'all. I'm taking a look at what it is that, hold on. I'm taking a look at what it is that is occurring, and realizing that no, I am at fault too, right? So I was watching, this is how it came about. I was watching this movie the other weekend with my mama and them, my family. And I'm listening. I came in on it. It had already started. The movie ACRIMONY is what it's called. And so it starts where the main characters in that program are like their younger selves, right? And then you have this voiceover going on of the older, mature main female character in the movie, right? So I'm just watching the movie progress about this relationship, right? And thinking, why would she do that? Or why would she react that way? And why would she allow them to say this and influence her choices and this and that? But the voiceover, in the voiceover, what she continuously says is, he did me wrong, he did this, or how could he play me, or why I was such a, no, she didn't say I was such, she didn't say nothing that made me feel or think that she saw the role that she played in it, right? Because here's the thing, if you feel somebody is mistreating you, do you stay and continue to allow that to be the case? Or do you react in a way? Because something that she did catch him cheating one time when they was younger, right? So instead of driving away or leaving or saying, cool, final straw, I'm done with that, what did she do? She took her car. This is not funny. It's ridiculous. But, you know, we all have our hot points, right? But she took her car and drove her car into this man's home like 2 or 3 times, right? And then passed out as a result of her injuries or whatever else was going on, right? So when they took her to the hospital, as a result of her choosing to ram her car into his home, she injured herself and had to have a complete and full hysterectomy. So there goes her chance of ever being able to physically birth a child, right? Later in the movie, she was like, when she found out that his next girl, or his wife actually, subsequently, was pregnant, she was like, that's supposed to be my baby. Make that make sense. And how is it that man's fault that you couldn't have kids and you the one that chose to drive your damn car through the wall and hurt yourself, right? That's number one. Also, something else I noticed in the movie, she initiated the divorce. She initiated the divorce. He didn't want to. He stated that at the time. She was like, sign it. I'm not trying to hear that, right? So then he blows up, makes all this money, and repays her handsomely for, you know, having supported him over the years, etc. So he ended up giving her like $10 million. So she automatically assumed that he wanted to be back with her. And that's when she found out, oh, he engaged. He moved on for real. So then she became obsessed with their relationship. But the thing is, you initiated the divorce. You left me. I didn't leave you. So how is the fact that I chose to move on, how is it a fault of mine as far as our relationship goes, right? Something else that I also noticed, and it's good that eventually when she got to a certain point, she realized what had been going on. But her sisters were giving her advice about this connection and this relationship, and all I could think the entire movie was like, these miserable wenches, like. So you just really have to be discerning about who you get your information from, or who you choose to trust or believe, or whose advice you choose to accept. But by the time she got fed up and realized she made the wrong choice in letting this man go, or not being patient with him, or not believing in him really, she told them to mind their own miserable business, first of all. But this is after she had been allowing them to be so involved in their relationship in a way that it influenced the outcome of the situation. I hate it when people say long story short, and then I already talked for forever. But at the end of the day, at the end of the movie even, I was just like, there's so much in here where this woman was blaming, and mostly blaming Robert, the character, the male character in the movie, her counterpart, mostly blaming him, but it's really a result of things that she chose to believe, behaviors that she allowed and accepted, and choices that she made. And it was like, I went to read the reviews for the movie, right, just to see, because it's really old. I don't know, really old, but it's old, and I just haven't seen it. I hadn't seen it before, and so I went to read the reviews for the movie, and it's like, some of the reviews were like, oh, so you are encouraging toxic relationships, encouraging people to stay in toxic relationships, especially if they're working on a deal that might generate millions for them. Like, what? That is not what this movie was about at all, right? And I was just like, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone sometimes. Cause, like, was we watching the same movie? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, just another example of people, and I think of this too from a healing perspective, right? A lot of people want you to babysit and hold their hands and walk them through it and break it to them gently, etc. And that's fine, and that's good to be empathic, right? To put yourself in someone else's shoes. But even in order to heal, you have to hold yourself to a certain level of accountability. You have to be able to look and say, how did I contribute to that, right? So that got me to thinking about some of my own personal examples of accountability. And hold on. And for one, a lot of mine come in my romantic partnerships and relationships with men. I'm not saying, well, trust me, I have definitely had daddy issues in the past, but it's like my relationship with my dad, you know, has been something else. But I'm not even gonna blame that, because at the end of the day, this is something that you know and that you're aware of, and something that you see and realize about yourself. Then it's up to you, me, in this regard, to make choices and decisions that reflect the outcome that I want, right? So if me, like personally, okay, I was in a connection with someone for, I guess, about 2 years, right? I knew that this man had a girlfriend, okay, at this time. I was way younger, but I knew that this man had a girlfriend, okay? And I didn't require anything else of him other than the type of connection or relationship that we had. I'll say it that way. I don't want to be too graphic, you know what I'm saying? But so when he came to me and said, oh, it's like a random Tuesday, oh, I got married Sunday. Hell yeah, I was angry. I was upset, unhappy, mad at that, right? But at the same time, I had to come to a space and place, and it's not always immediate, but it didn't take me no dang on years to figure out, like, yeah, you kind of played yourself there, right? Why is that? How is that? Because it's a relationship that I agreed to. And I knew he had a girlfriend, so the normal progress in a relationship is going to be to move to marriage, right? Did I think he was there yet? No, but that ain't up to me, right? It's almost like it ain't up to me. You know what I'm saying? I'll just leave it at that. And so it's like, as far as accountability and what my role played in that, these are the risk that you run when you allow yourself to be involved in a relationship like that. Because what should have happened was, oh, you got a girlfriend, you need to stay out my face. Like, yeah, no, you can't have my number because you got a girlfriend. Like that kind of energy. But that ain't who I was at the time. Like, I was not that person. There was another relationship. Now this person and I, we were friends, had been friends for years. And then our relationship developed, I was going to say evolved. It developed into something more, something physical, right? And this is, as far as character goes, this is not someone that I would normally want to attach myself to. right? This is someone who definitely struggled with addictions. Um, Someone who was definitely known as a ladies' man, right? Super charming, charismatic, those things, which they can be good, but you don't want to date and seriously involve yourself with a ladies' man. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I still allowed myself to put years into this bond, this connection, right? So imagine my surprise, and this is one that he really hit it well, but still there were signs. So imagine my surprise when he too tells me, well, he didn't tell me, oh girl found my number and called me, but to tell me that we got married this weekend. What? So I feel like she was not surprised about me, but yeah, I was definitely surprised about her. And so while I was mad and I was hurt, I even continued that connection for 2 more years. Because I was definitely in a space where I was not loving myself and I didn't really like myself. So my values, my standards, all of those things were absolutely low. Um, and so I can look at that and look back at it now and see that that's the truth. You know what I'm saying? But we had developed a bond and a connection and a friendship already prior to that type of relationship starting. But if I'm being honest about the situation, it was again choices that I made, situations that I allowed, right? But I could go and have a tarot reading with someone who's gonna say, "Oh, I'm so sorry he did you like that," and yeah, that's fine because he was an asshole for that. However, what did I require of him? Nothing. What did I demand that he do in order to, you know what I mean, solidify our connection? Nothing. So if we're taking accountability, and then this is the second time that it's happened in a row, who's the common factor in that? Me. So I need to take accountability for my role in the way those connections and relationships played out. So the next time that situation happened, I had already began to evolve, to improve myself, definitely to meditate. My intuition was strengthening, and this situation didn't even get off the ground good. It just felt and smelled like betrayal. Even though I was in doubt, like this person just randomly came back into my life after 20 years. Like surely not 20. It was like 12 years, but I had known him for like 20 years. Surely not. But then some would not let me let it go. My intuition, my God, just like, you know, and man, looked into it, and of course it was right. It was right. This clown, before he reached out to me, had just proposed to someone 3 weeks prior. And I know at this point that I'm looking for a real connection and relationship. So why would I even allow myself to stay and entertain this foolishness? You know what I'm saying? So it didn't take long to get off that horse at all, honey. But I'm just saying, like, when you hold yourself accountable and you're able to see the part of the role that you play in the situation, one, it just creates it allows you to really gauge your own actions and makes you responsible for the things that occur in your life, and you not blaming everybody else for what's happening, because at the end of the day you realize that you can set boundaries, you realize that you can make choices and decisions, you realize that you have a say in the way that things happen or play out in your life, right? Whether it's good or bad. That's just like if you're working on a project and it turns out to be a really amazing project, right? Just like you would take accountability, like, you know what? I worked my ass off for that. I did that and I made it work and it's amazing, right? Just like you would take a credibility and accountability for that, same way you would take the accountability if it flops, right? Like, I didn't work as hard as I could have, or we didn't have the team together that we needed in order to allow this situation, this project to be the best that it could be, etc. Right? So taking accountability just makes you responsible for your own efficiency, for your own effectiveness, for the way that the situation plays out. And it just helps us really to learn, to grow, and to solve our problems as well. I wish it was something that was more common in the world. Unfortunately, it is not, but hopefully we can each individually be the change that we want to see in the collective world. All right. I hope this was helpful for somebody. Bye bye.